Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
928 Car Guys, if you want to weigh in on this. We're talking about all the recalls and stuff, and now we can take a little trip around the car world. I put on my readers here and see what we've got to talk about. We've got, oh my God, if we got a lot to talk about. After we do the recalls, I like to talk about some of the less fun things that are going on in this place. And there's several, but there's a couple good things too. BMW of Cleveland has settled an EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity, whatever, age discrimination case for $390,000. You can't fire old people if you don't, if they're not that old. An Ohio BMW dealership has agreed to pay $390,000 in damages and back pay and beef up an anti-discrimination practice and to beef up their anti-discrimination practices to settle a lawsuit brought by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC. The EEOC alleged that Davis Automotive Group's BMW Cleveland location had fired 2 employees because of their age. BMW Cleveland also allegedly retracted an offer to rehire another former employee for a new position, awarding the job to a younger and less qualified person. Well, younger and less qualified means less pay. So they're saving money, huh? I can understand why they're trying to save money right now. These actions represented unlawful age discrimination under the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, and it did, the EEOC said. So guess what? He's got his job back, and he should have, or they have, and they're probably real good workers. What's the difference? I mean, come on. Well, electric vehicle maker Nikola. I mean, we have a Tesla and we have a Nikola, but Nikola Tesla was the guy that invented whatever. And anyway, they think he's probably more important than Thomas Edison. I don't know about that, but that's all right. Electric vehicle maker Nikola agrees to pay $125 million to settle SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, charges of defrauding investors. Hello, defrauding investors. Kind of like Heinrich Fisker. Let me talk Heinrich Fisker on this one. Nikola Corp has agreed to pay $125 million to settle charges that it defrauded investors by misleading them about its products, technical advances, and commercial prospects, the U.S. securities regulator said on Tuesday. It gets better during the week. The Securities and Exchange Commission accused the EV manufacturer of violating U.S. security laws and numerous misleading statements and making numerous misleading statements made from March to September 2020 about in-house production capabilities, reservation book, and financial outlook. In other words, they couldn't build them, nobody was buying them, nobody was reserving them, and the financial outlook like stunk. So, but anyway, the settlement follows civil and criminal charges filed in July against Nikola's founder, Trevor Milton. I think we reported on this way back, for using social media to repeatedly mislead investors about the company's technology and capabilities, reaping tens of millions of dollars as a result of his misconduct. Milton, you bad boy. Milton is battling those charges in court and having lost a bid to dismiss or move the case. Milton's misleading statements aimed at inflating share prices began even before Nikola had produced a single commercial product or had any revenues from truck or hydrogen fuel cell sales. Come on. This guy, he's another Heinrich Fisker. These guys have been defrauding the investors. And before, when we had the president back before '08, they were at '08. starting in '08, they were defrauding the Department of Energy, his department. He was okay and all kind of stuff, letting them borrow money. And two battery companies borrowed millions, Eric, billions, and they just never made a battery, just went kaput. Same way with Fisker. He never made a car, kaput. He got like $2 billion. I mean, these guys, it's so easy to defraud. Well, now the government, wouldn't let them defraud them anymore, wouldn't let them defraud the government anymore. So now they're defrauding regular investors, and it's unbelievable. I'm telling you. And I'm not going to say the name, but I'm still a certain truck company. I'm going to wait and see what happens, because I ate crow over that one, but now it's starting to slide again. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Did you know, an FYI, Toyota dethrones GM as the U.S. sales leader after nearly 1 century. 100 years, Eric. 100 years on top. GM has been the number one seller for 100 years. Washington. This is Washington. I don't know how you do that. Washington. Reuters. This is Reuters reporting. Japanese automaker Toyota Motor Corp outsold General Motors in the United States in 2021 for the first time since Detroit automaker has not led the U.S. auto sales for a full year since 1931. Toyota sold 2.332 million vehicles in the United States in 2021, compared with 2.218 million for General Motors, the automaker said on Tuesday. So they took a pounding. General Motors loses. Well, you know what, though? I think Toyota had more chips. I don't know. I'm worried about this chip thing. It's going to really stink when it comes to. Don't get me started on chips. What I tell you about that?
Here you go.
I know. Well, and here, BMW is retaining its luxury crown for the third straight year. Luxury brands delivered 2.2 million vehicles in 2021, accounting for a record 14.7% of the total U.S. light vehicle sales. So that's almost 15%. Okay, a surging Tesla threatens Germany's domination of the U.S. luxury market. That's the whole idea. In a year throttled by supply chain shortages, BMW outmaneuvered rivals Lexus and Mercedes to claim the U.S. luxury sales crown for the third straight year. BMW also appears to have fended off, if only barely, a surging Tesla. The Texas-based EV producer barreled toward 1 million in global sales last year, up 87% from 2020. So Tesla, of course, they moved from California. They got out of the land of fruits and nuts, and they went to the land of steers and steaks. And 87% they went up from 2021. Overall, the U.S. luxury market outpaced the broader industry this year. Well, that's only because they had the cars to sell. Give me a break. I mean, they're just. You know what? Let's talk about sales. We're going to talk about that. I got a whole section here that I've been saving. I think we're going to talk about it today, because I'm telling you, it's not the same. What I do here on the Car Guy Show as the Car Guy and with Eric, I give you the facts. Here's the deal. Here it is. You sniff it, chew it, throw it against the wall, decide what you want to do with it. But I'll give you the facts. And if you don't want to know what I would do with some of this stuff, I mean, and sometimes I make a little under the breath comment. I got to watch that, by the way, because that might not be very good. I mean, Eric can edit those out if I have to, but
we're live on Facebook.
The guy I know, and that guy that rides in the Bentley, and these Rick watches, and of course we got executive producers. We got Jose in Michigan City, what a man he is, and we've got Dynamite Dave in Benton Harbor, St. Joe. I mean, we got people all over the place, and I don't want to offend anybody, so I just try and be nice if I can help it. That's if I can help it. I can't always help it, because the facts are the facts, all right? And we'll get into it later, but this whole chip thing is a stink pot. I'm telling you right now, it's just a stink pot.
It grinds your gears?
Oh, baby. It gets my chili hot. Let me just tell you. All right. Sales are on a pace course to fall again in December. Of course, the stockpiles continue to just build up slightly. Retail inventory is tracking at just more than 1 million for the first time since July. This is J.D. Power said, but industry sales are still forecast to drop more than 20% to end 2021, and they will. The widespread supply chain bottlenecks that have left new vehicle showrooms empty for months will put a big dent in December sales even as inventories slowly rebound. Well, I hope they're mopping the floor and everything while they got no cars on it. Deliveries of new cars and light trucks were on a track to drop an estimated 23 to 29% this month from a year earlier. TrueCar, J.D. Power, and LMC Automotive forecast that this week. But while many automakers are advertising this year, there simply are not enough new vehicles available to meet consumer demand, prompting many shoppers to wait on the sidelines until selection improves and prices come down, because they're not going to come down for a while. You got to watch, you know what, and I feel bad. I've had several people whose cars were really in bad shape, and I told them, you got to get a different car. But then I think about it and I say, well, there are no other cars to get. And we're going to go right back to this thing. You got to go to a certified dealer or a regular used car lot to find a decent car. And if you're in this area, if you're in the Midwest, you can bring it to me to check it out. Bring it to my shop. We don't charge for that. We haven't done for in 40 years. We've never charged anybody to look at a car, a used car. I don't want anybody buying a junk, especially right now. If that car is for sale on the side of the road, I will give you 5 to 10 odds that it's junk. Matter of fact, I'll give you 1 to 100 odds that it's junk. Because if it's sitting on the side of the road, it's from somebody from out of state, it's just terrible. I told you all the horror stories that I've encountered. Ronnie, my manager, and I, he's inspecting cars that just make you want to laugh. And some of them make you want to cry. The kid that paid $8,500 for a 2006 pickup truck. $8,500, and he can't drive it because the frame is busted. He towed it all the way back from Wisconsin, bought it off of Craigslist or whatever. Give me a break. Now we talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago. This is horrible. It's out there. It's wrong. Don't fall for it. We'll talk more when we come back about buying a used car. Let's get this in perspective. And we're talking about car sales and buying a used car. And everybody that has a car right now, everybody said, I can't tell you how many people last summer told me, in the fall, I'm going to trade this dog. So, okay, you trade it. Fall came, can't trade it. There's no cars to buy. What are you going to do? Trade it with the guy that's selling a car on the side of the road? Your car's probably way better than the one he's selling. I'm guaranteeing you. They're buying cars that are totaled or destroyed or junk, fixing them up and selling them for big bucks. Big bucks. They're ripping people off left and right. And now the prices are way high, okay? Way high. And of course, I understand that if you go to a dealer for a used car or a new car, they have to get as much as they can for each car because they got to keep the lights on. Mm-hmm. You know, they got to pay the taxes, they got to pay their people, they got to keep people working, and they don't have any cars to sell you. But all those people that were trading that car in the fall, they're stuck. Mm-hmm. And that, consequently, shops like mine are really, really busy. If you have a question about a car, you can always call this show, 928 Car Guys, or you can call my shop, 708-895-9520. Ask for me. I usually answer the phone anyway, and because it's a ma and pa operation. And I got to tell you, you call me, we'll talk about cars. I'll tell you everything you need to know, and I'll tell you some things I can't say on the radio.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then we'll discuss it. But if you get stuck by a guy, that poor kid that bought that pickup truck in Wisconsin, mm-hmm. that guy hasn't answered his phone since. Eek. You know, he's stuck.
He is.
He paid $4,000 too much for a truck that he can't even drive. And I had a girl brought in a Hyundai. We had to do $2,000 worth of work before her dad would let her drive it. And I explained, he and I sat down and I showed him everything. I took him back in the shop. I said, look at here. Look at this. And we got to do this. This is stuff that's going to break. Some of this stuff is not going to break. We can let it go for now. Other stuff, you got to do. Right. And those cars are out there. They're sitting, and this was sitting on the side of the road with a for sale sign. And of course, it was in Illinois, and the guy lived in Indiana, so you can't go after him, and you can't find him. Once it's sold, it's sold.
Yep, that's it. That's all.
Good friends of mine bought a used, and it was rebuilt. It said rebuilt right on the title, and they bought it anyway. But it was rebuilt by a real schlock, some guy that couldn't fix a burnt match. I'm telling you, this guy, whoever did it, and they said it was certified by the dealer. And I said, well, who signed off on that? This thing, they put $2,000 into it. No, about $1,800 into it just to make it nice to drive and safe to drive. It was a new car for his wife because she had a brand new one that got totaled. She had a brand new one, didn't have any miles on it, and it got rear-ended. And of course, it got rear-ended, and then she hit the guy in front of her, and it just was a sandwich, and it was a mess. So now she's got to buy another car, and there's no other cars to buy. So she ends up with this certified rebuilt car. Oh, what a junk. I feel sorry for him. I really do. And they paid too much for it, and they know it. But she had to have wheels. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't Uber every day. You can't take a cab everywhere you go.
That's expensive.
I know. It's just the way it is. Here, the NADA, National Automotive Dealers Association, sees record profits coming this year for dealers. For 21, U.S. dealers have cashed in on the supply chain tribulations that rocked the auto industry in 2021. Profits for the average dealership are set to smash the 2020 record, fueled by tight inventories and high per vehicle margins. In other words, they're making a lot per car. I want you to hear this. Now listen carefully. Eric, this is not pretty. According to the National Automobile Dealers Association, NADA, the average U.S. dealership recorded a net pre-tax profit of about $3.4 million through October. So you still got November and December to go. More than double the $1.6 million reported in the first 10 months of 2020. And it surpassed the $2.1 million in net pre-tax profit recorded for the average dealership for all of 2020, which itself was a record annual profit. Hello. According to JT Power data, U.S. dealerships are on a pace to make about $5,200 in profit per new vehicle in December, more than triple what they made per new vehicle for the same period in 2019. Triple. $5,200 profit per vehicle. The good times for dealers, of course, should continue in the new year. 2022 is likely to be a most profitable year dealerships have ever recorded as inventories remain at near record low levels, and Tyson Jominy, J.D. Power's Vice President of Data and Analytics. Let me just tell you, it makes you want to cry.